Of INTERPOL World Television. I'm pleased to have Dr. Stephen McCombie from the Security Division of RSA here with us first thing this morning. Stephen, welcome. Can you tell me a little bit about RSA and your Security Division?
RSA are a long-standing security vendor that have been working very hard, certainly in recent times, in terms of advanced cyber defence, and that's the area I work in, building solutions for customers both from a people, process and technology perspective.
The cyber defence, now we hear a lot in the press about the cyber threat. How much of the threat is actually hype? How much of it is real? And what should we be really worried about?
I think the problem is we obviously read every day about new attacks. I mean, the reality is they are happening, and the number of threat actors actually perpetuating those attacks are increasing. And organisations who previously probably would have felt themselves not to be a target are now likely targets. So while there is a lot of FUD in terms of this type of thing, there is a lot of actual attacks happening. Organisations need to be mindful of who might be attacking them and how they might be coming for them.
So what are the sort of top threats that you're seeing?
Certainly the long-standing threat which I've been involved in is in terms of cybercrime fraud by Eastern European groups targeting financial institutions. But obviously more recently state-sponsored espionage is a massive problem.
But we're seeing Interpol and with the opening of IGCI getting further involved. What is the cyber intelligence model that you're working with them on?
So basically Interpol's in a very unique situation in terms of the feeds that they have in terms of intelligence and data that can actually help organisations in terms of cyber threats. And they also have 150 member countries who they serve with that information, who also have information they can provide. So they're in a very unique position in terms of being a clearinghouse and an analyser of that information. So I've tried to build a model for them so that they actually could build a function and build some technology around that to actually support intelligence, the Intelligence Fusion Centre. Essentially, the problem is that intelligence, or what we call intelligence, comes in many forms. One of it's just raw data. Some's actually developed intelligence, some's actually intelligence product, advanced things we see now, actual threat actor profiles produced by organisations. So it's melding all those things together and not actually losing sight of actually using the information. The problem in the past was we didn't have enough information. Today we probably have too much. It's really sorting that information, understanding what's relevant to an organisation or to a law enforcement agency, what information is going to help them actually achieve their business outcomes, whether it's arresting and prosecuting someone, whether it's harm minimisation, whether it's building better defences.
So what is it that RSA brings to the table that adds to the market?
RSA, in terms of our people, we have extensive experience in terms of setting up security operations centres, setting up CERT teams, doing incident response, doing threat profiles of organisations. Many of us ex-law enforcement, ex-military, plus our experience with various organisations consulting, puts us in a unique position in terms of understanding best practices, understanding the future trends, and that sort of gives us the ability to actually help organisations develop their own capability.
So what are the sort of threats that keep you awake at night?
I suppose the great problem is things that are immediately a problem where you don't have time to actually spend time analysing the problem, building a solution where critical business systems or critical infrastructure systems are actually stopped. You need to act straight away, and they're the hardest ones because the great problem in cybersecurity is you don't necessarily understand the problem well enough at the time. You're seeing symptoms, not the entire problem. So those types of threats, I think, are the ones that keep me awake at night, because those need very quick action, but you need to make the right actions. And you can see many organisations responding quickly to events, but incorrectly, and actually making it worse.
So who's staying ahead of the game, the good guys or the bad guys?
I think it's always a catch-up for the good guys, unfortunately, because the bad guys have got the power of innovation. I think the advantage we have sometimes is the bad guys only use what they need to, so they don't tend to push the boundaries too far. Often when I worked in regards to some of the techniques used to capture passwords and using Trojans and actually put them off to other sites, we were surprised how little effort was gone to actually frustrate our work. But of course, the bad guys didn't need to do too much because they were getting enough anyway. So they don't only keep a little bit ahead of us because they're very pragmatic. And certainly we talk about cyber criminals out of Eastern Europe. They're very business focused. They run it like a business. They think, what do we need to do to be able to get the return we need? They don't go that extra bit. So that's I suppose that's the good thing. But I think always we're going to be playing catch up. I think that's just the reality of the way it works.
Stephen, thank you very much indeed for talking to Interpol World Television this morning.
No worries. Thanks, man.